Gosh. Anyway, so sorry about that. Anyways, as I was saying, welcome here to the channel, Talk Network, and here for this review in regards to Riverdale, a Riverdale review dale here, Riverdale. Most recent episode here, Riverdale. Season 4, episode number 12, chapter 69, Men of Honor. Next week's going to be interesting in its own right, but either way, we go on from there. But here, or from this week's episode of Riverdale, was all about guest stars. The biggest one being Katie Keene, of course. So yeah, and a character that's getting her own show. But there was also Nick St. Clair and some guy named Ted Bishop. But let's just talk about the episode and 500 characters. Well, in general, we'll start with Archie. Archie and Uncle Frank are wrapping up a work day with Ted Bishop, an old friend who served with Frank, showed up to deliver some bad news. Someone named Greg died, as Ted puts it, cancer rotted his guts. So one thing we know about Ted is that he's not gentle, and yet Archie invites him over to the house for dinner, where he asks him to stay the night. Sorry. It's not the first time Archie's naivete will land him in trouble, and it won't be the last. But another old friend calls Frank saying someone else died. Frank realizes something is off just in time for Ted to try to stab him. Archie ultimately hits Ted over the head with a frying pan, but that somehow doesn't knock him out. Ted runs off, and Frank explains after the war, Ted hired Frank to work at a private security firm. They were mercenaries. And now Frank thinks Ted has been sent to tie up the company's loose ends. So, yeah, interesting. Long story short, Ted isn't going to stop until Frank is dead. don't know what happened there, dang it. Hold on. I don't know why that freaking happens. Everything has to freaking reload every time you just click on something. I'm gonna have to mute because I'm just. Alright. So I see where I left off. Very early in my review here. Sorry about that, everybody. Hopefully we can get that fixed not to happen ever again. But yeah. Aaron Rodgers title belt thing. Anyways, yeah, so let's continue talking about Riverdale, reviewing and see the Black Packers. There it is. Look at that logo, the logo. Packers. Anyways, don't worry, it's my knee. Anyways, let's continue where I left off, at least where the video left off. I actually kept talking and I was almost done with my notes and with my everything. But anyways, let's go back to where I was. Alright, let me go back. Alright, long story short, Ted isn't going to stop until Frank is dead, so Archie does the only thing he can think to do, get FP, Riverdale's resident badass cop / gang leader, involved. And apparently FP has gone up against a mercenary or two in his life, which seems about right. The plan is to use Frank as bait and then have FP arrest Ted, and it works. At least until Ted tells Frank that he broke the code, which means all bets are off now, I guess. And I don't exactly know what that means, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out it's not good. But I do still also say someone might need to translate for Archie because he seems lost in the woods. Excuse me. And I mean in his mind, not actually lost in the woods. I think you know what I meant. Anyways, just as Frank decides to run away to Alaska, Ted breaks out of prison because Riverdale cops have the same IQ as, well, Archie, as I just explained. Ted then attacks Archie at school, where the guy slams Archie's head into a mirror and then throws his body through a porcelain sink. And yeah, so anyways, Kevin accidentally walks into the bathroom and distracts Ted, giving Archie the opportunity to knock him out with the toilet lid. But let's not forget about Ted's skull of steel and being not selling the hit, as we call it in pro wrestling, or not selling in general. And he gets up like 3 seconds later and chases the two of them down. He knocks Kevin out with one punch into the locker, like a Superman punch of the Big Show, not TKO, which though is the most realistic part of this scene, and starts strangling Archie before Frank returns and knocks him out with a trophy. So somehow the trophy is the only blunt object over the other ones that work to keep him down. They turn Ted over to the feds, and Archie convinces Frank to turn himself in, and well, because if anyone knows what should be done in the situation, it's the teenager, right? It's always teenagers, the young ones, we know, or they know what's right. I still sometimes think of myself as a teenager, and then remember I'm not. Anyways, but Frank doesn't actually listen to the teen. Instead, he leaves Riverdale and Archie behind. Archie's next move, being a simple man with honor, just like his father. So that's cool. Now, Lucy Hale and her characters come back, and I like I said, seeing Lucy Hale with the actress who plays Veronica, and Lily Reinhardt plays Betty. I like to see all three of them in a just play my bikini photo session. That's for sure. But anyways, moving on, talking about Veronica. Veronica heads to New York with her parents. They're going on business, and she has an interview with Bernard, where she meets up with an old friend, Katie Keene. Katie's into fashion, so she's the obvious choice to help Veronica pick out the perfect college outfit. The best part of this story comes after the girls finish up shopping, and Katie asks, "Wait, do you like Dre?" She then takes Veronica to Molly's Crisis, where the two catch up. Katie asks if Archie will follow Veronica to college, and she says Riverdale wouldn't survive without him. So their plan is to do the long distance thing. Right. Katie then reveals that her mom is sick, which, don't get me wrong, is very sad. Serious things. But it's a character we've never met, so it doesn't quite land despite Lucy Hale's solid delivery. But I still care because I'm that kind of person. The news does, however, tie into the end of the episode because it turns out that Hermione and Hiram didn't go to New York for business. They went to see a specialist. Hiram has a neuromuscular disorder that will weaken him and cause him to lose more skills. They did catch it early, so there's a chance he'll be okay, but for now, Veronica changes her name back to Lodge and tells her parents she's been accepted to Bernard. So that's awesome, right? No, it is. I'm telling you, it is. I'm actually saying that it is. Sorry. A little extra energy this morning. Anyways, a little bit about Cheryl. When Nick Sinclair shows up at the Maple Club, Cheryl fills Tony in on their past, and Tony sees it as an opportunity for revenge. She drugs Nick and illegal experts Kevin and Fangs to make a video with Nick to use as blackmail, and if he ever sets foot in Riverdale or something like the woman again, it'll be used. And also, we in the tickle business is something that Kevin does say, and I'll never unhear that. It is what it is. Betty and Jughead, it's duel time for Jughead and Brett. The two agreed to the terms. There will be a fencing match, a bare knuckle brawl, and if necessary, a chess match as the tiebreaker. They're each allowed to choose a second to help them, and Jughead chooses Donna for some reason, but I guess she can help him learn the fence because he needs to. And speaking of fencing, the match goes down in this seminar room. I find it hard to believe that there's not a better place for two to fence, not to mention that they're surrounded by fellow students who could be harmed. But if he were to be, the teen show. Brett wins, and we move to the brawl, which Doug wins with one punch. You know, it's like WWE and wrestling with the 3 stages of hell match, or matches like this that have 3 steps to it, stages to it. 3 different types of matches, and you know it's going to get to that last match, whether it's a last man standing or back in the day an Inferno match or whatever. That one was going to win the first, the other person's going to win the second, and then it'll go to the third and deciding. And it does here, so we all knew it was going to come down to the chess game. And while all this is going on, Alice is trying to fix her mistakes. She tells Mr. Honey that she acted alone in getting the quiz show answers, but he doesn't believe her. Instead, he suspends Betty for a week, strips her of her editor-in-chief title of the paper, or just strips her in general. I mean, why not take her back to that naughty Betty? Anyways, Aunt bans her from pursuing her prom. Oh, and Brett also took out a restraining order against Betty at some point during all this craziness, but Betty has other things to work on. She enlists her mom in looking into Mr. Chipping's death. They start by talking to Mrs. Chipping, who doesn't believe for 1 second, that her husband is having an affair with a student. All she knows is that Mr. Chipping wished he never got the Baxter Brothers contract. So why would he kill himself? He was so close to being done, right? He finished his last book. Mrs. Chipping has a lot of questions, and she leaves behind a box of her late husband's personal things so Betty and Alice can look through it. And what did they find but Army pamphlets? Hoorah, Army. Hashtag Army veteran that I am. That brings us to Moose. Moose reveals that not only did Chipping suggest the Army, but he actually was the person who recruited Moose to play football for Stonewall Prep in the first place. Then, when the story came out that Moose, Chipping practically shoved Moose out the door, when the story came out about Moose. And apparently, he learned that Brett had videotaped Moose having sex with a classmate in their dorm and added it to his collection. So naturally, Betty and Alice head to the dorm to see if they can find said collection. Instead, all they find is Brett, who denies any knowledge of such tapes. That leads to Plan B. While Jughead and Brett play chess in the seminar room, Betty and Alice will search the school's basement where the Quill and Skull meetings take place. And Betty does find a tape collection there, but it's not what she thinks. When Brett gets alerted that the Quill and Skull alarm is going off, they pause the game and head downstairs where he reveals that all Betty has found are tapes of every Quill and Skull member's initiation testimony. So she hands them over, and her and Jug get back to their game. He and Jug. At least until Jughead throws it. And it seems Jug is no longer interested in honor the way Stonewall defines it. He doesn't want to be a Stonewall man. And once back home, Betty reveals she did manage to sneak Donna's tape out, and her confession is eerily similar to the story she told Betty about her affair with Mr. Chipping, except her tape is about an affair with a different teacher. Turns out Donna's been lying this whole time. Her story about Mr. Chipping was a rehearsed speech she's given at least twice. Perhaps they've been looking at Brett as an evil mastermind. They should have been looking at Donna. And that's where we leave it. As far as guest stars go, I enjoyed the Katie Keene stuff the most, and I think Betty and Alice working together was the strongest story of the hour. But you all can let me know what you thought of things, because I definitely enjoy hearing everybody's thoughts on things. I always do. So sorry this video is extra long because of the stop and starts, but hope you enjoyed this review. Welcome to follow me on Twitter at Army_strong_06. You can also find me on the Snapchat at StevieK_06 or Instagram at StephenK_06 there. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And above all else, as always, take care.